in another mosque. And he found that in this mosque they have two minarets. You know the minaret? Like the long, like kind of tower. And usually the mosque will have one dome and one minaret. And usually it's gonna like show you the direction of Qibla. Anyhow. So he saw two. It is like a regular mosque, not too big. So why they have two? So he asked his friend, the Sheikh, so why do you have this? He said, you know, there is a man, he had a vow, like nether or nizr. He said, if my son is going to finish, let's say, high school or college, so I will donate this money to build minaret, ma'dana, okay? And the Sheikh said, I told him, we have people in need. We want to send some students to study or to pay their tuition, and we have other needs for this money. So why you insist? He said, either take this money or I'll take it to another mosque. I said, okay, give it to me. You see, he didn't do it the right way. So he has money, but he didn't use it the right way. So when we talk about needs, you're supposed to know what is the best. How can I benefit more people? Or benefit maybe the most needed people. Anyway, in this part we are going to continue. Each part is going to start with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi.
Then the Imam said, وَكْفِنِي مَا يُشْغِلُنِي الْإِهْتِمَامُ بِهِ وَاسْتَعْمِلْنِي لِمَا تَسْأَلُنِي غَدًا عَنْهُ وَاسْتَفْرِغْ أَيَّامِي فِيمَا خَلَقْتَنِي لَهُ. Spare me the concerns which distract me. Employ me in that about which you will ask me tomorrow. And you know that it is the kind of old language. Okay? And let me pass my days in that for which you has created me. Or use my days for what you have created me for. So let's go with the first part, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi. So why we start always with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi, especially in the qunut? Because this part of the dua, when you praise Muhammad and his family, Prophet Muhammad and his family, peace be upon them all, so you guarantee that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept that part. He's going to answer that part. So you have the first one. Then you can ask Allah whatever you want. And then you end with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi. So Allah is going to accept the first one, third one. What is in between is going to be guaranteed that Allah is going to accept it, inshallah. This is number one. Number two, it is highly recommended to start our dua with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi Muhammad. And of course, you ask Allah, Almighty God, هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم. He is the first and the last. So, which one do you want to ask? Of course, the first one, the last one, and He knows about everything, and He is capable of doing anything. And you are asking the perfect one. Let's go with the part. Spare me the concern which distract me. So, what keeps you so busy that you neglect other crucial aspects of your life? Give me some examples. Many times when we ask some dear brothers, why you don't show up? Why we don't see you for maybe 2 or 3 weeks in the mosque? Oh, I'm so busy. So, maybe this is one answer. Find me another answer. Other answers. Netflix. Yes. Entertainment. What else?
Wife.
Sisters can also. Wife. Yes. Children, family. You know, I'm so busy with my family. So one of our dear brothers, he is here. I'm not going to mention his name because you're going to know him. One time he said, my mother told me, dear son, why don't stay with us? Like when we finish our iftar, just sit with us more. He said, Mom, you are number one in my life. Okay? So Alhamdulillah, I got a chance to get iftar breakfast with you. Number two in my life is the coffee shop. And I have to go to the coffee shop, smoking my cigar, drinking tea. It's like a habit. It's it's like second job. So let's go for some reasons. Working or studying. After September 11th, we have been invited to a church to talk about Islam. And then, after introducing us, so we sat with other people, like one Muslim with other, on every table. So one or two Muslims and with some Christians or Jews. So we were talking about Islam and this and that. One of the ladies, she's a lawyer, she's an attorney. She said, you know what? During Gulf War, the first one, I didn't know anything about it. I said, why? She said, because I was studying. So I didn't watch TV, I didn't listen to radio, I didn't read any newspapers, just focusing on my study. So yes, study is sometimes gonna isolate you from others. Your family, your job, business, illness, may Allah forbid you. Entertainment, as Abu Ali said or Sayyid Ahmad said, or other reasons. Now, of course, maybe many of these are going to affect us. Why do we worry so much about this temporary existence, this worldly life, this short life? Why are we experiencing such fear and worry, anxiety over our finance, children, and other things? My money, my wealth, my kids, my family is my. Yeah, it is yours. That's right. But you are not supposed to occupy your heart and mind and be number one priority. And you need to submit your affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you need to know why Allah created you, and He is testing you with everything that He has given you. So don't be so worried about it, because it is a test. It's not a privilege. And everything depends on how we receive and approach this temporary life or existence. Imam Ali alayhi salam was describing, or you just want to evaluate this life. He said, فَعَيْشُكِ قَصِيرٌ وَخَطَرُكِ يَسِيرٌ وَأَمَلُكِ حَقِيرٌ. The life of pleasures, the life of pleasures, or which provide you this kind of pleasure, is really incredibly brief, for a short time. What you offer is not really important. What this life is going to offer us? 60 years? 90 years? The older we get, more sick we will be. And the older you get, and then your hopes are going to be less and less and less. Okay. And for those who have reason, so the desire to hold you or to hold us is an insult in the humiliation. If I will only think about this worldly life, because I'm going to get nothing when I die. Only this piece of fabric. But the most important thing is my deeds are going to be counted before that. And let's skip this one. The other part, وَاسْتَعْمِلْنِي بِمَا تَسْأَلُنِي غَدًا عَنْهُ. What questions will God ask us on the day of judgment or resurrection? Please, give me an answer. Yes, sir.
Did you pray?
They all your prayers, adults.
Everything learned.
Do you think that Allah is going to ask us about how much time do you spend with TikTok?
There you go.
With like YouTube? And so on and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلَتُسْأَلُنَّ عَمَّا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. So amal, with deeds, with sayings, everything. Even when you vote, if you voted or not, all of that Allah is going to ask us about. Indeed, Allah is going to ask us about everything that we have done, what we have said, our relationship, what we have decided, or any path we are going to choose in this life, the most important things in this life. And then in another verse, Allah says, يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها. Woe to us! What a book is this? Everyone is going to be given a book, and in that book, everything is mentioned, even those little things. It does not omit a small one, nor a great one. Everything. So, the Prophet gave us an answer. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So he advised his companion, sincere companion, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari. He said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس شبابك قبل هرمك وصحتك قبل سقمك وغناك قبل فقرك وفراغك قبل شغلك وحياتك قبل موتك. So the Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Dharr, take benefit from 5 before the occurrence of 5. Number 1, your youth before old age. When we were young, we got all the time to do what? Have fun, travel, Netflix, as they said, and other things. But when we got older, and then we said, oh my God, I wish if I did this, or I wish if I went to Hajj. I wish if I studied harder, then I will get a better job, and so on and so on. This is number 1. So, when you are still young, do your best with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And your health before sickness. Have you been sick? You don't even desire to eat? Imagine yourself. And your wealth before poverty. When you are rich, use the money for the right people. And your free time before preoccupation. When you are young and you are not getting married, you have only yourself, responsible for yourself. But when you get married, you have a family, then you have kids, then you have more responsibilities, so you'll be so busy. And your life before death. So use your life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاسْتَفْرُغْ أَيَّامِي فِي مَا خَلَقْتَنِي لَهُ. Okay, so what do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for what? Allah said in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Or Allah said, إِنِّي جَعَلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. I haven't created the jinn and the ins like mankind and jinn only for worshipping. And also Allah said, I made a successor on this earth. I chose you, mankind, human, you, to be my successor on this. So what does it mean? Many ulama, they will say worshipping is not really worshipping, it is getting knowledge, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more and more. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for what? We need to seek knowledge, working hard to support our family, that's right. to play an important role and contribute in all aspects that benefit humanity. Be a human. Be a good person in your community or your family. The Prophet said, خيركم خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهلي. The best among you is the one who is best for his family. خير الناس من نفع الناس. The best among you who is going to be beneficial for others. Based on, you need to use whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Okay? Any kind of skill that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Use it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to serve others. Any questions? Any comments, please? We are done with the first part.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Okay, I'm not going to take much of your time. We'll go with. Again, we mentioned many times, or last week, about the times of Salat. Salatul Fajr from the dawn to sunrise. Salatul Dhuhr from the midday to sunset. And Salatul Maghribain, Maghrib and Isha from what time to what time?
Sunset to
Midnight. Okay. Sunset, it means like, you will have a precaution just to wait for 15, 20 minutes to make sure that the sun sets. All right. How do you know that this is the time of Salat?
look at the horizon.
Okay?
No, these days it's easier. Just look at your app.
Your app, your phone. Let's say you don't have it. So, for example, like, let's say we are in the camp, we don't have we are out of coverage, and let's say your battery or your phone is dead. So what do?
You have to do the horizon.
Well, Allah forbid, you are in prison, you don't know what happened, like what is the time.
Yeah.
It is 12, whatever, so anyhow. All right. So you need to have certainty or certain the time has started or set in. Two, just fair people will tell you, like let's say two mu'mineen will tell you, yes, it is time of Salat. You can rely on the adhan by your phone, or you're in a Muslim country. In Minneapolis for 2 years, when Corona started, they got the permission from the city, like Somali Muslim community. They got the permission to do that for Maghrib and Isha, like in public. Yes, and this is one of the ways that you can rely on. Sorry.
One question somebody asked me before,
Yes.
and you answered and then like to answer it. It's like, if, let's say hypothetically, you don't know the direction of the Kaaba, and you have plenty of time. You're not in a rush, nobody's following you, it's not raining, it's not cold. You got plenty of time. You're in the middle of nowhere, and you have no means of way. Sometimes, let's say hypothetically, it's cloudy. There's no means of way to know the direction of the Kaaba.
Go with your best possibility of the direction of Kaaba. What we would say one. Like more likely, this is the direction of Kaaba. So if it is 0, make a cross and play
4 directions.
4 directions.
That's exactly what I told them, but they're like, yes,
No, you can use, because I'm coming to this point. Maybe tonight. Okay. Okay. If you are not certain about the time, okay, well, it's not working. With no certainty about the time or prime time for players due to a what? Personal handicap like blindness. By the way, there is different ways to do the adhan in Turkey, one of the cities in Turkey. You know why? is for the blind people. So they have like different kind of adhan, so they will recognize from the way of doing the adhan. Okay, what they will do it with different maqamat, like with different tones or lyrics.
So they know which is
So they know that, yes. Because maybe they will sleep, and you know, like for the Sunni brothers, they will have like adhan for Dhuhr and Asr. Maybe so they are going to miss Dhuhr, they will sleep or whatever. Or being in prison, may Allah forbid, so how do you know? Or general hindrances, so what you should do? Try to make sure that salat time is due by waiting a little bit, postpone your salat. Now, question. It's not changing. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Is a person's prayer void or not? If he believes that the prayer time has begun, okay, this is the scenario we have. I assume or I believe that it's salat time, right? Prayer time. And I started my salat. Okay? Or I finished my salat. Either during my salat or I finished my salat, or I figured out that salat time didn't start yet. What about my salat? Is it going to be valid or not valid?
Did you finish after Adhan or before Adhan?
Because I believe it was salat time, like Adhan started. So I said Allahu Akbar and then I finished my salat. Then I found out I made a mistake. I started before salat time. So are you gonna consider your salat valid or not?
You finish after Adhan and it's valid.
No, it's not. So during salat, yes?
As long as you count down, it's not bad.
It's not. It's invalid. You can't count.
If you didn't find out, then it would be valid.
Okay. Yes, but if you found out, you are in trouble.
Ignorance.
Okay. So why is it another side? What?
That's very good. Disconnect the Bluetooth and we can, that's what happens, we lost communication while we were on there. What is for?
The Bluetooth is connected.
He's able to change it on the screen. If you want to disconnect it from here, we can
Yeah, maybe. I'll try again. This is the last time. It's not working.
It's not working, right?
Yeah. Okay, another scenario. If a person discovers while praying or after praying that the time has just entered or started during the process of praying, are these prayers valid or invalid? Again, that he believed that this is salat time started, but then he discovered that it started after he started. Any other answers?
Can you clarify it, Mulana? Because
Okay. If a person discovers while praying or after praying that the salat or the time of salat just started, he started his prayers, but during this salat, he found out that the salat time just started.
the same question as the one before?
No, it is a little bit different. I will explain that to you.
So, I would say it's valid as long as it's niyashin.
Give me 1 second.
Abu Ali was trying to connect and his phone was going to interfere.
Okay. I got it. Let me just remove this one. Yes. Then I'm gonna add one. Okay, you'll get it.
Should be able to reconnect this. There you go. Magic is about to happen. There you go.
See, these are two questions, two scenarios. We talked about the first one. If a person now discovers while praying or after praying that the time has just entered during the process of praying, are his prayers valid or invalid?
It's not starting.
He has to start the salah after the time. He can't start it immediately.
Yeah, but he thinks that it is salat time.
Yeah, but if he find out from the figure that he has to repeat.
So the point is just make sure that salat time has started, okay? Skip these details.
Yeah.
I know it is a kind of confusing. Okay. You should not purposely postpone offering the prayers. Let's say, I have time, I'm watching videos, watching the game, just wasting my time until I have only time for one rak'ah, one unit. Should I start it or not?
Must, yes.
Yes. Is it going to be counted as ada'an or qada'an?
Yeah.
One rak'ah, one unit.
I think it has to be two.
As long as one rakat answers, it's adhan.
If it is only one rak'ah, it's going to be ada'an. Don't change your niyyah to qada'an. Okay, any question?
You could do one record at a time?
No, you missed it now.
Oh,
There is only time for one rak'ah. You said Allahu Akbar, Salam, you went to sujood, and then you heard the adhan of Salatul Maghrib and Isha, and you prayed one rak'ah of Asr time. Is it going to be valid? Yes. Considered adhan? Yes.
sweet.
Now let's go to al-qibla. You ask about the qibla. So this is the qibla, as you know, and this is another picture for the qibla from, from the dome. Qibla is the place of the Kaaba in Mecca, and prayers must be performed facing it. When you say facing it, how do you face it? Let's say I face it by my face only, but my body is like this, and can I do this?
No.
Okay. If I am facing the Qibla is this direction, my face is this, on the one side. Is that okay?
You got 45 degrees almost?
Your chest or shoulders, your body facing the Qibla, must be facing. And face, be careful. Don't make it go far away. So this is a very nice view for the Kaaba. I like it. And this is another one. So we are here, right? And why the lines are not straight?
Because the earth is not straight.
Yes.
It's flat.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
At the beginning, you know, when Muslims came to the first time to the US, they used to direct, you know, their Kaaba where?
East. They should pray directly east.
East or southeast. So sometimes east or southeast, like, you know, straight. So then they found out that this is wrong. It's supposed to be northeast.
So you gotta go to the shortest distance.
Yes, because the earth is not flat. It's like
It's
one.
fair.
So wherever you are, you have to
Shortest distance. Not short,
All right.
not straight.
when do we have to face Qibla? So this is the way that you need to face Qibla. You have the margin between 45 degrees white and left side. Now, are we really facing the Qibla like hitting the target in the middle?
These days are less.
No.
With the direction.
No. It is the side of Qibla.
Right.
Okay? Because otherwise these lines are not supposed to be straight. They're supposed to be curved.
Correct.
So it is the side of Qibla. Now, when do we have to face Qibla? Number one, daily prayers or obligatory prayers. Now, give me an example about these prayers.
Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib.
Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. What else?
And Salat al-Layl.
No, Salatul Layl is not.
Salat al-Hayy,
Qada.
Salat al-Kusuf, Salat al-Kusuf.
Salatul Ayat, when we have, like, you know, eclipse, yes. What else?
Salat al-Mayy.
Salatul Mays. What else? I'll come to Salat al-Tahajjud because it is recommended, yes. Now, it is from different positions if you are standing or if you are sitting. If someone is sick and he is lying on his right left backside, can he pray? Can he praise? Yes. Should he face the Qibla? Yes. So in all these positions you have to face Qibla. Slaughtering animals, do you have to face the Qibla and make the animal facing the Qibla?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But we know, man.
You know, if you know the Qibla, yes.
How that like in a big quantity, they can do
No, they do.
Take it easy, Ahmad. Take it easy.
And I was checking some of the Masail and read it. I think the Jews, they have certain
Jews?
Correct.
Jews. Yes, they have certain Qibla or direction to slaughter the animals.
Temple of Salaman.
Yes, and they have maybe very similar conditions to what we have.
Absolutely.
Like to cut, yes.
That's the question. So, the Kaaba, facing the Kaaba was a change that happened, you know, further on in Islamic history. And originally, it was facing Jerusalem. So, what changed that suddenly it has to be facing the Kaaba, and what was so okay about doing it towards Jerusalem before?
I think there are so many answers for that. Number one, it is to show that we have something in common with people of the book, with the Jews, and also Christians. And just to make them feel that our God, the same God, and we are facing the same Qibla. The prophets are brothers, and all of them, they take their books from the same source of light, which is God. But unfortunately, the Jews started to say, our religion is the right religion, and started mocking Muslims or the Prophet. And you see, look at Muhammad, he told you to face that. So I think after a couple months, or more, I don't know, 6 months, and years, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Jibreel alayhi salam to go down and change the Qibla.
There's a masjid
After he was just looking at the sky, waiting for some change. So there is a masjid they call Masjid al-Qiblatayn.
in Medina.
So when you go there, you can see the old Qibla and the new Qibla.
In the same masjid.
The same masjid.
But the history of the Kaaba is that this was the prayer spot for Abraham. That's my understanding, correct?
Yes.
So why wasn't it good enough before? That's where I find that.
It is up to Allah to decide what is the Qibla for Adam. It's before Abraham. It was Kaaba, as we know, because the first one who built the Kaaba was Adam. Then Ibrahim was facing Jerusalem, but then he was commanded with his son Ishmael to rebuild Kaaba. The foundation was there, so they just rebuilt it. And then he was making this announce to call people for Hajj. And people started to, migrate and started to establish Hajj. And when the rituals or Hajj rituals have been changed during over all these years, so Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was commanded by Allah to correct all of that. So Kaaba became a divine place and mosque for people who were in Arabia, who are following Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ishmael alayhi salam.
One last question. Right there I see 45 degrees in either direction.
Yes.
There's a 45-degree variance that's allowed according to...
Yes. This margin is allowed.
45 degrees is a lot.
Yes. Sometimes you are not. If it is more than that, you will be
That explains something that I've witnessed. Okay.
Okay. What other prayers is required you to face? Qibla, Salatul Ihtiyat. Okay. The precautionary prayer. What is the meaning of Salatul Ihtiyat? Or Rak'atul Ihtiyat. You missed one rak'ah or two rak'ah, you still have to face the Kaaba. Forgotten sajda or tashahhud must be performed facing Qibla when you are sitting for tashahhud. And based on the recommended precaution, the two prostrations for what?
Inadvertence.
Sajda Taysir. Also, it is recommended to face the Qibla. What about Salatul Tahajjud, Salatul Layl, recommended prayers? Nawafil, we call Nawafil, Nafilat al-Subh, 2 rak'ah. Nafilat al-Dhuhr, 8 rak'ahs. Nafilat al-Asr, 8 rak'ahs. Nafilat al-Maghrib, 2, and we have al-Layla, and Nafilat al-Isha. Okay. Do we have to pray facing Qibla? Yes, you should. If you are not having any excuse, or you are not traveling, okay, or if you are not walking. So, can you pray while you are walking, or traveling, riding? The answer is yes. Do you have to face Qibla? No.
As long as it's not obligatory prayer.
It is not.
Yes.
It is recommended. It is mustahab.
But I think, sorry, Shana, I think let's say if you walk in and if you start, then you have to face Qibla to start, right?
If you are walking, you don't have to face Qibla.
Salat and you're walking or you're riding. And then if you have to stop, then you have to face Qibla.
Yes, if you can face the Qibla, face it. Yes. If you have no excuse.
Like if you get to a point that you have to stop,
Yes.
or stop moving, then it's obligatory then to face Qibla. If you still in the Salat.
If you can, yes.
And should we have wuzu or recommended?
Yes. Any questions? How to determine the Qibla direction? Using smartphones or campuses, okay, with the app, as you just mentioned, the position of the mihrab. This is the mihrab. It's telling us where the qibla is, okay? Of a mosque, Muslim graves. When you go to the cemetery, go to the section of Muslim graves, and it's going to tell you, okay, let's say this is the grave like this. So where is the qibla?
Depends which way they're facing, which was the head of the bottom.
If this is the head on this side,
Then this way.
so where is the qibla? Facing this. Why? Because when we bury the dead person, so the head is going to be on the right side, and he is going to be on his right side, facing the qibla. Okay, so this is his leg, this is his face, head, and he's facing the qibla. So the qibla is his direction. And
One time,
Yes.
we had to bury somebody in a non-Muslim cemetery, and I had to supervise. I had an argument with, unfortunately, we had a problem. But anyway, we end up going down to the grave and tilt the person inside, literally into like 45 degrees, almost more than that, like almost diagonal. Luckily, he was short, and the coffin was big. So I was able to, I mean, it was a sad occasion, but unfortunately I had to go down into the ground and argue with the cemetery supervisor. So they had to walk away for me to go down, and I did what I had to do, just return toward the Kaaba.
good job. You are doing the right thing.
It was actually in Florida.
Can you rely on a non-Muslim? He is telling you the qibla. Where is the qibla?
If he's truthful, yes.
Yes, if he knows. Or, by the way, you are relying on what? The apps. Like, the campus. Who made that app? No, just the app. Like, with the campus, not the... Maybe he is not Muslim, right? So we trusted him. Scientifically, it was right. Okay, so you just go in the direction, right? Sometimes I want to check the qibla, which one is right, because if you are close to some metal, especially iron, so it's going to affect your qibla direction. It's going to make it like wrong. So try to avoid it. Yeah. So it is sufficient if you base your supposition, which means none, on the words of an immoral person, okay, or disbeliever who knows the direction of qibla using scientific principles, or maybe other ways we can figure out the qibla. Okay. What should you do when you try to find out the qibla and you couldn't?
That's what my question.
Four direction?
Yes.
Before that, if you are going to say more likely it is this direction, go with your one. If you couldn't, four directions. Any questions?
Can you use the sunset and the sundown of the German Qadla or something approximate?
Yeah, you can use the sun set to figure out where is east, west, north, south. So then you can figure it out. Yes. All right. So tell me if you like to continue this way, inshallah. Each week we will have some masail, some rulings. Otherwise, if you want to change it, I'm going to.
It's very educational.
What? No more questions. صلوا على محمد وعلى
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم كن